One Arcade Couch, the best place to get your gaming goodness each and every Monday. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me on the couch this week for E3 2020 wrap-up / some awards. They're not really awards. I was just clickbaiting you into the episode. We're going to be talking about our favourite games from E3, though, and some other things, but Ashley Hobley.
How you doing? Excited to be here.
What is this?
Been a hell of a week.
What is this? I want to know, because...
Just tired.
Okay, is that what it is? Because I was like... I mean,
we've done how many podcasts?
This is our 12th.
So many.
This is the 12th recording I've done for the week. So you'd be what, 11?
Within
10.
7 days,
Or something. Whatever. You'd be like
10. Yeah.
Yeah, two shot. That sounds about right. So you've done 10 this week. I've done 12 this week. This comes out on Monday. So we did post 11 podcasts last week, but this is the 12th one I'm recording for this week. So yeah, it's tight. But I was wondering, because I was listening back to when I was editing. What was it for? Star Wars. Holocron entries. Very Bad Batch, right? But if you're watching the Bad Batch, go listen to our Star Wars podcast, Holocron entries, where we do a review each week about the new episode Bad Batch. Anyway, I was re-edit when I was editing that, and I was like, "You intro it so dull." I'm like, what is the joke here? Because I didn't even click onto it. So I'm like, why are we just like coming in with zero energy? That's what it is. It's just
because we had zero energy.
Had zero energy. Yeah, I mean, I have zero energy, but I'm doing that thing where. See, I was complaining behind. This is like, look, we'll get to the content in a second, but let me put it this way. Here's what we're doing this week. We're going over, what is it again? I've already forgot. Top 3 things you're disappointed with at show. Best conference at E3 2021 and why. Top moment of the show for you. Top 2 trailers of the show. And top 5 games. Your top 5 games at E3 2021. That's going to be a show. That's what we're doing. If you want to hear us talk about any of the other E3 and the E3 adjacent things that have happened in the past week and somehow you haven't been paying attention to your podcast feeds, there is E3 2021 bonus, Nintendo Direct episode, me, Karen. E3 2021 bonus, our favorite indie games you may have missed. We go over just over 25 indie games from E3, plus also like Wholesome Games, Guerrilla Collective, all that sort of stuff. That sort of stuff, bullying ones, that's me, Kieran, and Ash on that one. E3 2021 bonus, Xbox and Bethesda Showcase plus Square Enix, that's the 3 of us again. And then you got Summer Game Fest, last week's actual official episode. Of course, we talked about Summer Game Fest, Kickoff Live, E3 2021, Ubisoft, Devolver Digital, Koch, Gearbox on that one, and that was me and Ash for that one. So if you haven't somehow, we've got all that covered. So this week we are just we're wrapping up E3. But I do want to say, just a quick side.
Is it over? I can't remember.
Well, so E3 is over. Summer Game Fest is
technically still running.
Summer Game Fest is running.
The website is still running, right?
Till E3, yeah, an email come through.
You can still go on this virtual show floor, right?
Yeah, I think. But there's nothing on there. It's like a useless website. No one used that website. Let's be real. But yeah, I had my like Twitter profile saying, like I changed my bio to say I was like not my name, like how. If we go to PAX, you do the thing where in your name you change it, but just my bio, I changed it to say like hoping for Bayonetta 3 at E3 2021 or whatever. I was like going to willing into existence, and I didn't work, but I had it there. So I've changed that section to now say I'm at # Summer Game Fest Beach, because that's where I'm at for like this summer. I'm at the Summer Game Fest Beach.
Okay.
That's what's happening. It's a beach because it's summer.
How about we kick off this episode with a big question. Did this E3 work?
That's fine. I don't really mind.
Did virtual E3 work?
Yeah. I know. Look, for me, I know this is a conversation that everyone keeps having, but here's the thing for me about this conversation, and the reason I don't really care for it, is if this was a normal E3 year, people every year that there was normal E3 were just having the same conversation over and over, which is E3 dead? Do we even need E3 anymore? And now because of COVID and we didn't have one, now the conversation's just digital E3. Like I just feel like it's the same conversation as was having before. Everyone just, after every E3, everyone goes, do we need E3? And the answer is, no, not really, but I want it. I want it to work. This was fine for a year where developers were put behind because of COVID, and E3 was sort of trying to make things work. I thought the event was overall fine. I don't know. Like there was lots of ups. There was ups and downs as always. Fine. It's fine. I reckon. Yeah, that's my opinion on that. Why do you have stronger?
It felt like there was a lot more forced presentations just to get content out there for E3 to justify its existence this year. And probably that in-person element was also very much missing. Like seeing GameSpot or IGN the next couple of days doing interviews and that kind of stuff. They didn't really have that this year.
Well, they were doing it. They were doing their digital show, but
Yeah,
it just
but-
wasn't the same. So
It just wasn't the same.
none
yeah.
of it was the same. That's the thing. It's like none of this was the same. So no, it's hard to judge. I feel like it was the best. It was the best show that they could probably put on, because ultimately, when we're saying like, oh, it was let down because people did shows they probably shouldn't have done, I don't really blame E3 for that. That was like Gearbox
I
being
do.
like, I want to do a show, and then E3's like, oh, sure,
So-
you can do one.
Do a show, please.
I-
And pay us money to do the show.
I really don't think that was it. I would feel like E3 emailed everyone and was like, who's in?
Please, we
bunch-
need you to do a show to justify our
They didn't pay.
existence.
They wouldn't have
If
paid.
it's just Xbox and Nintendo and Ubisoft and maybe Square Enix, that would have been
Then
pretty
they just have more.
boring.
They would have had more of the day show with Greg and whoever else, Golden Boy and all those people. I guess like whatever. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Let's. I don't know where I was going,
Alright.
but let's get into it. Our first category. Top 3 things you're disappointed weren't at the show.
Starting
Hold
with
on, hold
a
on.
downer.
I just want to say, because I didn't clarify this before, put a little asterisk on this. We're including Summer Game Fest and any adjacent events that occurred during the general.
Anything that happened in the last
Yes.
2 weeks.
Yes. Yep. Okay. What is your first one? We'll take turns. I've got mine ordered, all of my stuff, because of course that's how
Yes,
I like to do that as always. But yeah.
Of course, I know how you like to work, so
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course everything's ordered.
Yeah. So if you go from bottom to top,
My number 3 is PlayStation.
Hmm.
I knew they weren't going to be there. I knew they weren't going to say anything, but it would have been nice to have them there to have a right of reply, especially after Xbox obviously had a very good showcase. All the Xbox fanboys got super confident on the internet. So it would have been really good to have PlayStation come in, put an awesome showcase together, and put Xbox back in their place. But that wasn't the case this year. Hasn't been for a couple of years. But one day we'll be back where we belong.
maybe. I highly doubt it.
I
To
don't
be
know
honest,
if E3 still lives.
yeah. I'm
I don't know.
very shocked, to be honest. But yeah, I think that's if you're polling a lot of people on the internet, I would presume that'd be a pick by a lot of people. My number 3 is Senua's Sacrifice Hellblade 2 not being there, because this is a game, of course, that they came out and the first trailer for it played during the Game Awards 2019 reveal, where the show started. They officially announced that the Xbox Series X was a thing, and then we got that really cool cinematic thing. Now, to add to this as to like, well, why wasn't it there? Surely it would be, like nearly done. Where is that game? What's happening? So there wasn't a follow-up Xbox event Friday this past week. It was mainly just adding details to games that they already showed, or like explaining some things like
dev
where was
interviews and that
Hellblade
stuff,
too. Yes. So press start riots following an incredibly impactful show at the Game Awards almost 2 years ago. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is looking like one of the first games on Xbox that will truly next gen, but its absence at the showcase really gave the impression it might be far away. The latest update from developer Ninja Theory only seemed to confirm that observation, as the extended Xbox showcase overnight, the UK-based developer showed off the latest behind-the-scenes look at the game in a meaty video doc. In this video, it said that the team is hard at work on creating a good chunk of the game as a vertical slice before moving into full production. The commitment to realism seems unreal. They not only traveled to Iceland to capture the game's setting as authentically as possible, but they've also built costumes to scan into the game for some ultimate realism. So, unfortunately, by the sounds of, if you watch that video, it's kind of obvious that the game is still, it's a while away.
Very early.
It's a while away. it's a while away. Unfortunately, it's a while away.
It's 2024 at the earliest.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. It just depends how. I don't know how good it, like how much. I don't know in gaming,
How
like
quickly
video game
Ninja
production,
Theory-
like how they work, and then also like if this is a scenario where they've lined up everything they need, and then they sort of. Because often in video game,
Maybe.
how in video game development, it always seems to be like no one knows what the fuck they're doing, and then suddenly a game comes together, especially the AAA ones.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if this
The
is a
last
case where
10 last week or two.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a case where them as a studio, as a developer, is able to like do a lot of pre-production work and then actually efficiently knock it out when they officially go into work. But yeah, so that is definitely my disappointment. And I did go back as I was like this morning when I was locking in my selections for this stuff. I went back and looked at that trailer from the Game Awards. I was like, oh my god, fucking, it's so cool. The music and everything. It's like such a tone piece, and I was like, fuck, please, it's just I want this goddamn game. But you know, can't rush greatness, as they say. You know, that's the one disappointment.
Apparently, they moved studios, like moved locations.
Yeah, well, they never were in the UK before, so
were they?
I don't believe so. I thought they were somewhere like off somewhere else. I can't remember, but I thought they were.
And then Brexit happened. They all didn't move back.
Possibly, yes. Who knows? That could be a thing. I don't actually know, but that could be funny. Yes. Yeah. So that's my number 3. What is your number 2?
My number 2.
Disappointment.
Number 2, disappointment. Pokemon.
Huh?
Why was there no mention of Pokemon? It's meant to be the 25th anniversary of Nintendo's arguably biggest, highest-selling franchise. And there was absolutely nothing about the whatever gen games they're remaking this year. Nothing about whatever crazy past Pokemon game they're making.
It's Diamond and Pearl.
Nothing about
the ones where you pick Cyndaquil as
Detective Pikachu that I asked for, predicted. Nothing. Not a single Pokemon in sight. Not even in the Smash trailer, from what I remember. Was there a Pokemon?
No, I don't believe they killed any Pokemon. So
no, so
I'm gonna
don't understand.
It's probably because they'll just do a Pokemon Direct very soon, like a solo one.
Probably.
Like they'll just.
You could have said we're going to do a Pokemon.
Yeah, I know, but Nintendo.
Here's Pokemon Snap DLC.
Pokemon just does whatever they want, you know. Nintendo does whatever they want, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's happened in like a month or something.
Two separate entities at this point, almost.
They will show off. They'll do a Nintendo Direct.
Pokemon has obtained sentience.
Possibly. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Nintendo Direct where they delve a little bit deeper and show off the gameplay of the remakes, tease a little bit more about Arceus, which is...
that's why I didn't try and say it.
I think that's January, if I remember.
Yeah.
Which isn't... It's really not that far. Because if something's out in January, it's like, well, they're showing you that game this year. You know, it's not like this year. That'll be happening. Anyway, I don't have it in the show notes because I couldn't be bothered talking about it, but also they did do that random thing the other day where they announced that the Pokemon MOBA. remember that?
MOBA's coming that's July, right?
That's coming out, July. For Switch first, and then Switch. September for phones. And it's free to start. That's their lovely little wording.
Free to start.
Lovely little wording for all that stuff. But I'm actually keen for that, so I'm keen to try it at least, you know.
Listen, during the Direct, they should have just dropped the entire track list for their album that they're putting out.
Who?
Pokemon.
What's the album?
You know, the one with Post Malone and Katy Perry?
Yeah. Is there more for that? Like, I never understood if they were supposed to be... Because there's that third artist who I can't remember. I don't know if that song's actually come out. I don't think so. It was a more famous international artist. Like, I don't remember who it was or where they're from. But a more famous, like, international artist. Not American artist, like Katy Perry and Post Malone, obviously. So. Anyway, that's your number 2. My number 2 is fittingly also Nintendo related, the Nintendo Switch Pro. So I know, like, this is one of those things where kind of like you picking PlayStation, I guess, which is that we knew PlayStation wasn't going to be there, and I knew the Nintendo Switch Pro wasn't going to be there because Nintendo came out, and I trust them not to lie about this stuff. When they announced their Direct and said software only, I'm like, okay, well, we're not getting the Pro announcement.
That's a lie.
What?
The Zelda Game & Watch? That's hardware.
I guess if you want to get real nitty gritty about it. But yeah, so I went in and not expecting it to be here. And I'm fine with that because if they broke those promises, then that would actually sort of annoy me because then every time they announce like, oh, software only, you're like, yeah, but that one time they lied. So then,
everything's up for grabs, yeah.
But knowing all that, I can still say that I was disappointed we haven't got it at E3 because I just want it to get announced. Like, I'm all about that. We began talking about Nintendo Switch Pro rumors like a year ago, and ever since then I've been like, I can't wait. Like, give it to me. I need it. I feel like the Switch just needs an upgrade. And I know a lot of people, like, I'm fine with it. And that's fine for you. Like, if you're fine with your Switch the way it is, and you don't think it needs an upgrade in horsepower and all this sort of stuff, then that's fine. I'm happy for you. You don't have to upgrade, but I would love to upgrade and have a better running, higher resolution handheld screen or docked higher resolution and all this sort of stuff. And we basically know it's coming. Like, again, where there's so much smoke, there's definitely a fire. And there's definitely a lot of fire happening somewhere for this. It's only a matter of time until they unveil it, and then the rumors are pointing it coming out next year. I'm with the majority, I think, in saying that the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, or Untitled Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, basically looks like it's not running on a Switch because it kind of looks too good to be running on a base level Switch. So, yeah. Like, if that game's coming out early next year, then Switch Pro could possibly be coming out.
Who knows?
Can't side with it. So, we shall see. What's your number one biggest disappointment then of E3?
My number one disappointment of E3 was we didn't get to see any of WB's other games. So no Harry Potter, none of the DC games that they're currently working on, even though I know they've been delayed, but they're still within. Well, at least Gotham Knights is like next year. I know Suicide Squad's another potential year, so I understand that. But yeah, not to see anything of those two games or the Harry Potter game. I would have been like to see a bit more of information about those, seeing as they've already got such hype for them already. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen some more Suicide Squad by now, but you know, unfortunately, that
do the Smash thing where you just no, that's probably not going to be a thing because it's probably just going to be those 4 characters. But if it was more the characters, just announce a different character every 6 months or something.
Maybe, but I expect they'll just announce a thing maybe one day, or maybe they'll tie it in later if they decide to do one of those events like they did last year, whatever that was called. Do you remember what it was called? The DC Warner Brothers event?
I have no idea. Oh yeah, they're doing Fandom again this year, so there'll probably be some information then.
Yeah, because that's where we got the stuff last time, so maybe.
That's right.
Do you forget that's where it was from?
I forgot that's where it was.
That's where the reveals came from. It wasn't actually from a video game event. It was from just a mostly comic book movie news event. So
yeah.
My number one, feel like it should be obvious, obviously, because I was just talking about my Twitter bio and all that sort of stuff. So my number one pick, of course, is Bayonetta 3. It was not at E3 this year. Disappointing. It's been a while. I know I keep talking about it, so I don't really need to go on about it much.
When was it announced again?
When was it announced? It was announced 20... Hold on, let me double check real quick. 2017 was when it was announced. Game Awards 2017.
How many games has Platinum made since?
I don't know. All I'm going to say is that's what makes this hurt more. Is that they showed off Babylon Falls, whatever it's fucking called. They showed off that game and it looks like crap. And I can't get Bayonetta 3, which is... I feel like most Platinum Games fans... Like, if you put it to a poll and we're like, which would you want? Babylon Falls, whatever it's called, or Bayonetta 3? I would guarantee most people click Bayonetta 3. Undoubtedly, most people are clicking Bayonetta 3. So, like, there's a Twitter account that I follow that every day is like posting a meme. Was there any Bayonetta 3 news today? Nope. Like, every single day. So good. People, can you sort comments by recency on YouTube? You can, right? Oh yeah. So 1 hour ago, so this is on the official Nintendo channel, where the trailer from Game Awards 2017 has like 2.5 million views or whatever. 1 hour ago, someone comments, progressing well. That is Bayonetta 3's latest update. Because that's what it says at the end of this trailer. It says it's progressing well and it's now in development for Bayonetta, for Nintendo Switch. 3 hours ago, someone commented into the unknown. 7 hours ago, someone just commented, sigh. 9 hours ago, Metroid Prime 4, is that you? There's a lot of funny comments here. So yeah, there you go. That's quite funny. Obviously, that's my number one game. I was disappointed wasn't there. So, and there was an update from old mate. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but from Platinum, who like a week ago was like, look, just chill. Like pretty much was like just chill.
It's like we'll make it when we want to make it.
Pretty much,
you know. We got inspired, then we lost that inspiration. We'd already announced
No.
it. It's kind of
Well,
awkward.
There was that interview I posted on the website end of last year with 2 Platinum guys' heads, and they were asked about Bayonetta 3 then, and one of them goes, "How about we all just like pretend Bayonetta 3 doesn't exist, and it will be a nice surprise when it shows up again," which everyone took as to him saying the game's dead, it doesn't exist anymore, when it was actually supposed to be a. Look, it's happening, but stop asking me.
Yeah, but
which is pretty much what this.
We got nothing to say because we can't keep putting it off. We get it given all this money to make other games.
I almost feel like the more people ask about it, they just keep purposely postponing the release. Yeah, because Platinum has a few higher heads that are quite trolly, I guess is the potentially. Yeah. So
it's actually finished somewhere. Like no,
possibly.
You have to go 365 days without somebody asking about it before I'll put it out.
It's never coming out then. Never coming out. All right, so that is our 3 most disappointing things that went at the show for 2021. Let's go to best conference at E3 2021. Ash, what gets your pick for the best conference?
Hands down, best conference, Devolver. Just, tight,
this your real
entertaining, tight, entertaining show in continuing the ongoing narrative of, the Devolver. But if I have to be serious, this is just about the games.
As much as it pains you?
Yeah, it has to be Xbox because, they brought the games. They gave you a reason to keep your Xbox One plugged in and paying for Game Pass.
Series X?
They just had the games.
Yeah, they had games. They had announced. Yeah, so Xbox / Bethesda, whatever you want to call it. That's my pick as well, obviously. It was the most actually E3 feeling conference.
It was uncontested.
Yeah. Like, I really like Nintendo, and that's obviously in the runner-up position. But yeah, Xbox had a lot of, it actually had hype reveals. It had stuff we knew about. It was paced well and everything. It was the only showcase that actually felt like it was a somewhat
complete
leveled E3 experience that you would expect with stuff to show, which was really good that they've come out to win it because in the past few years they've often had
misfires.
Bad ones. So this was good. Good job, Xbox. You get both me and Ash's picks for best conference. All right. Top moment of the show. So I worded it so you could kind of pick or go around wording this however you want. But yeah, just what was your favorite moment of E3 2021?
I don't know. Yeah. I put down one, and it's the moment is seeing everyone asking why they're making an Avatar game. Just the collective internet going, what?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, that's it. So I didn't pick it, but I was nearly going to put down the Final Fantasy. I can never remember the game's name.
Chaos.
Yeah, Chaos. I was nearly going to put down Chaos
game,
because that was also a collective, memes, just everyone.
I guess also non-fuckable tape, which is
quite good.
Genius.
Yeah, that's quite good. My number one actual pick though is Elden Ring trailer reveal.
Yeah.
Because that was something that other than Xbox, that was an actual reveal that felt like an E3 hype level moment.
Event.
And it wasn't at E3, so
yeah.
That was one of the things. But yeah, that was a type of trailer where you're like, throughout the whole show, and that Kickoff Live was quite a good show, and it had a bunch of really cool stuff, but ending on Elden Ring, that felt like a proper end of a showcase, end of a whatever hype level announcement, and it was actually a good trailer, and it gave us a update, and the internet was collectively, for the most part, who people were scared, was quite happy about that. So yeah, that was just I think that was the hypest moment I've seen my Twitter timeline during this whole E3 conference. Personally, like my followers and the people I'm following and stuff. Yeah, Elden Ring was the most I saw collectively. The most people being super excited for. And the runner-up,
Well, yeah, it was the moment that gave people the thing they wanted the most.
yeah,
And actually delivered on the moment.
Like, I mean, a positive collective thing, because obviously, collectively shitting on stuff, you have Chaos and Avatar and stuff like that. So, but yeah, there was like the one positive collective, everyone's sort of like super hyped about Elden Ring. So that was good. And then obviously, like Breath of the Wild, I guess, would be probably the runner up, like the next sort of ultra hype, everyone quite cheering and stuff like that. Like, yeah, finally. So yeah, that's my pick for number one.
I mean, if it had been dated 2021, then people would have gone crazy.
Yeah, even more so, I guess. If we actually,
that would have put it over the top.
Yeah, if they'd revealed if they'd shown that trailer and alongside announcing an actual official date, alongside showing Nintendo Switch Pro, and then announcing that it was coming day and date with that, and it was getting upgraded, like that's the dream hype reveal, I think, of Breath of the Wild. But yeah, nonetheless. Right, so top 2 trailers of the show for you. So I've separated. I put this as a separate thing to top 5 games because I meant if there was a trailer like I don't have it on here and you might. So, but for instance, the Outer Wilds 2, it's like I definitely wasn't even considering that for my top 5 games, but it was in consideration for top 2. So, if you want to start, what's your number 2?
Well, I'm going to start with my number 1 because you already said.
Okay, really?
Outer Worlds 2. What a great satirical trailer for a game that they probably gotten barely anything. They're early in post-production. They're just doing an announcement. The most amusing Outer Worlds way they could have announced the game. So yeah, Outer Worlds 2, number 1.
Now I'm like, do I do number 1 or do I do?
No, you do number 2.
Okay. My number 2 was the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. Because that was it was a really cool trailer. Again, it was just a collective hype moment. It was one of those ones where it was an actually good trailer that showed gameplay that was actually hype at the same time, and not just a cinematic trailer that got you hyped or whatever. And so I did think about the Outer Worlds and stuff, but as much as I found it funny, I just couldn't bring it. Maybe it would be in like top 5, but I just have a thing for awarding stuff that isn't even close to like that game. That trailer doesn't even represent gameplay or like ideas of what that game is. Like, like it's not even a cinematic from the game. It's literally just a trolley trailer to say.
So cinematic trailers don't matter?
No, well, that's not even a cinematic trailer. I don't think that's a cinematic trailer that showcases the game.
No, it's not. It's a teaser.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, Zelda's my number 2. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Redfall. It completely got me. Set up characters really well. Set up the world really well.
This is my number 1, so that works out. Yep.
Okay, cool. It's funny because there is no gameplay shown in.
No, but my point is this showcases characters, world, general idea of what the game about, enemies.
Yeah.
My point was Outer Worlds doesn't represent.
It's got nothing. Yeah, no, I completely get that. Yeah, I'm just teasing. Completely sold me. Got me jealous about not having an Xbox. And puts Arcane maybe they're top dog over at Bethesda at the moment. Deathloop looks amazing. This looks really great, really inventive. Definitely a world away from Dishonored. Think it was really great.
Yeah, this was a really great just cinematic trailer. And by the way, in case people haven't looked at it separately after watching the conference, 4 minutes 45 is the complete runtime of this trailer. It's like a short fucking film.
It's pretty much a short film, yeah.
At this stage. So.
It's cut together really well.
Yeah, for sure. This is
like the 5 minutes before.
And it's not. This isn't anything you're gonna actually see in the game. You're not gonna see this play anywhere. I highly doubt. So this is like a. So now it is, as it says in the title of the video, official announced trailer. It does give you and introduce us to the 4 characters that presumably we'll get to pick from to play, and it gives you the idea of where you'll be playing it. It gives you the look at the enemies you'll be fighting, the vampires and stuff. It gives you an idea of the powers you'll be getting to use. It gives you an idea of the weapons. This is the cinematic trailers I like, when it actually gives you general ideas of what the gameplay will be without going into it. And on top of that, it was just a really cool cinematic short film or whatever you want to call it. The characters seemed really cool. The vibe was really cool. The design of monsters and everything like that. Yeah, so this was really, my favorite trailer of the show for sure. All right, let's get into the big one, or the main of it. So, top 5 games of E3 2021. Ash, what is your number 5?
Number 5. I don't know. This list was really hard to put together. Like,
yeah, I had like
obviously there was a lot of stuff trying to remember everything.
I had like a short list.
We
of
didn't
12
really
or
get
something, so.
a lot of look at. We didn't really have an extensive look at anything. But yeah, these are the top 5 games I'm most excited for coming out of E3. Number 5, Party Animals. Certified cutie game, pretty much gang beasts, with weapons. Just looks like it's going to be so much fun, and we're just probably going to end up streaming it a bunch, beating each other up for hours on hours and hours on hours on hours on end.
Okay,
so
yeah, I'm keen for this as well. As I said when we discussed it, I had no idea this was a game, even though apparently it's been around for quite some time, and people were streaming it at some stage, and they did some content creator like trying to hype the game up and get the game out there. So hopefully, when they said 2022 at the end of the trailer, hopefully that's an early 2022, not a mid or late 2022. All right, my number 5 is also from the Xbox conference. It's Replaced. Ultra cool trailer. Very great pixel art, cyberpunk vibes, general look of the game, the feel of the game. This is one of those trailers where you don't quite know what. Watching it, you don't quite understand what the go is, but then afterwards, you read the description. It says that you'll be playing as this robot, or what? No, what did I say it was? I can't even remember now. It was a AI inside of a human's body.
It's an android, AI inside of a human body.
That's it. AI inside of a human's body, and like that fits well inside of in my view anyway, that fits well inside of like what the cyberpunk themes and this sort of stuff. So that's really cool. But yeah, it's just the other stuff I discussed in our episode where it just looks like, I hate to say like your typical indie sort of art style or whatever, but it's not. Like it looks next level. The art is so good. The way the camera moves throughout this trailer, the way the camera shakes when people are being hit, the way the camera shake. If you're watching the video right there, the way the camera's shaking on the that train and stuff like that. There's just a cinematic quality to this in this trailer that I think puts this a step above of an indie game, and maybe that's Xbox coming aboard and like giving it that extra push. But yeah, such a cool looking game. And a cool world and stuff. So I'm super keen to get my hands on that one. But again, it just looks like something you'd see at Devolver in their thing. I'd be like, yes, I want to play that, But it was in Xbox, so there you go. That's my number 5. What's your number 4?
My number 4, We Are Earth K, the big indie behind the band game, narrative diary game. Looks really cool. Sounds really cool. Cool concept. Just really beautiful. Really keen to like experience it and like see the story of this like group of young creative people trying to make it as a band and probably failing. Yeah.
Well, they can't fail because they have a song out. You can listen to it on Spotify.
No, but I think they break up in the end. As a thing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. This is it was a really cool
ends
trailer.
in tragedy. They all go on to have solo careers.
Maybe. Yeah, it's a really cool trailer, and just the general concept of the game, like doing a full, like creating a fake band and creating all this backstory, going to the degree of like make the actual songs.
It's Gorillaz the game.
Yeah, to a degree, yeah.
Except more emo, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It's like if you like narrative games focused on young people having life problems, plus also trying to make it as a band, so indie pop group band. This is basically it. This was on my short list as well, so close but not quite enough to make it into my final pick, but we was close. My number one. Oh, sorry, my number four.
Number three.
Number four.
Four.
My number four.
I'm thinking of my number three.
I'm skipping my head. My number four is Elden Ring. So,
Ooh.
is this lower or higher, or not? What's the ooh for?
I don't know.
Okay.
Ooh, Elden Ring.
Ooh.
You actually are excited for this game?
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying. Every time I say I'm excited for it, it's like, oh, but you didn't like Sekiro. But I'm like, yeah, but I like all other games. So, like, can't win them all. Maybe this is
yeah.
I know I didn't like their last game, but hopefully I'll like this one. So that's the thing I'm running on. I do want to tie in a news story here, though, that's come up in the last couple days or whatever. So George R. R. Martin actually spoke about this. And PC Gamer writes, George R. R. Martin recently spoke to Chicago Focus Network WTTW News after receiving an honorary doctorate from his local ALMA MARTA, Northwest, whatever, School of Journalism. It covered topics about Game of Thrones and other things, and most of all, he got asked about Elden Ring. Martin was asked about how different it was working on a video game as opposed to be a fantasy fiction writer, and he said, quote, actually, it's considerably different. I've played some video games. I'm not a big video gamer, but the game is called The Elden Ring, and it's a sequel to a game that came out a few years ago called Dark Souls, and it came out of Japan.
Yeah, I've been calling it the wrong thing all this time.
No, I think he just. Although I like the idea of everyone now collectively just changing the game's title by referring to it as The Elden Ring. But people were like, "Is he like talking out of his ass,
serious?
or is this a thing?"
True.
It could be both, because there has been rumors and thoughts, and people have been theorizing that's actually a continuation of the Dark Souls universe already. And there's always been theories that the Dark Souls, Demon Souls, or Dark Souls and Bloodborne universes were connected, and people have like whole theory videos on YouTube about it and this sort of stuff. So, I mean, Elden Ring could be way more connected than we know, or he could most likely, he's just saying it's a sequel because when he got asked, it was like, oh, we're the people that did Dark Souls, and that's kind of what all he remembers the studio as, and he said. Later in the interview, he did get asked about how it worked and all this sort of stuff, and he said, quote, my work on it was actually done years ago. These games, they're like movies. They take a long time to develop. Basically, they wanted a world created to set the game in. They wanted world building as a big factor in fantasy and science fiction. You're not really talking about the characters and the plot, but the setting is almost as important as everything else. Tolkien's Middle-earth, Robert E. Howard's Hyborian Age, the Foundation universe of Isaac Asimov, etc., etc., etc. So he continued and said, I worked up, a fairly detailed background for them, and then they took it from there. So really, it's been several years since I've last seen them. But they would come in periodically and show me some monsters they designed, or the latest special effects, or the cool things. But the game has been very slowly developing, and it's coming out in January, I believe. So I'll be as excited as everyone else to see it. I'm glad he only got asked about this recently, because I'm like, did he actually get told you can say the game's coming out in January now, like a week after its reveal? Or if he'd got asked this anyway without the game getting that trailer, would he have let slip that it was coming out in January? Either way. So yeah, we kind of now, the cool thing about that is we have a better idea of exactly what his role on the game was. Because they always, of course, hyped it up with this collaboration with George R. R. Martin. But he has had nothing to do, it seems, with the actual narrative of the game, the characters of the game, or the monster designs or anything like that. His role was to create the universe within which Elden Ring is set. And maybe that will include like a history, like, there was this ring or whatever, that sort of thing. Like, thing happened, all this backstory. This is the world. It's got evil monsters, thing. And then From Software's come in and they've added the player character. They've added the actual narrative, So I think that helps explain how the game's actually coming out, because everyone kept being like, how's this game going to come out if George R. R. Martin's writing the plot of the game or anything like that, the story? It'll take him years. It's because he didn't. He just wrote he wrote the setting plate, if you want to put it. So that makes a lot more sense for the whole thing. But yeah, Elden Ring, number 4, super excited. I thought it had a really fantastic trailer. And I've spoken about it before, obviously. I didn't love Sekiro, but I like other Souls games, obviously. And this one looks really good. I'm really keen for it. I know recently they said that the game doesn't have an easy mode, so that got confirmed. They reckoned it's easier than some of their other games, and I was like, whatever. We'll see. It looks like it's got a huge open world for the first time. You can play with friends, except for in dungeons, they said. But if you're playing with friends, you can't use horses or something. It's really weird, but can't wait to see more. Looks cool. There's a part in the trailer where a dragon like stabs someone with a lightning bolt or some shit. So insanity. What's your number 3?
My number 3, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Cool idea for a spin-off of Borderlands. Have a looter shooter, but with dragons and fantasy stuff and magic. Yeah, cool concept. Ashley Birch is involved. A lot of cool names. Andy Samberg, voice of character. That's kind of cool.
That's the only reason you're excited. It's just because Andy Samberg's in
Yeah,
it.
sure. I have to be everything Lonely Island.
Yeah. Lonely Island does the soundtrack.
Yeah. What are they going to put their dick in into this?
Wow. Yep.
So, what type of time loop is he going to be stuck in this time?
I don't know. Did you play? I can't remember. Did you say you played Borderlands 2 or in the DLC? Or
No, I've never played Borderlands 2 DLC. So, but yeah.
Have you watched like video of it or?
Yeah, I think so. Bits and pieces.
Because like how it's a D&D game, and that's basically what this presumably is. It's just
so yeah. If it's very influenced by D&D as well, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just a bigger because she throws dice at the screen at the end of this trailer. So
yeah, it'd be weird if it wasn't. If she's just throwing random dice.
So you're gonna have Andy Samberg and Wanda Sykes and whoever else as like players, and then you get to pick one.
Yeah.
And you're playing in this imaginary. That's how they create this big fancy world with dragons and stuff because it's all.
Although the way they made it sound is you could customize your character, so they're not like set.
Yeah. Makes sense. My number 3 is from the Devolver conference. It is Trek to Yomi. So the one that made you go, oh, makes me want to play Ghost of Tsushima again. Yeah. But it was this really cool looking feudal Japan samurai game in which you see a character. It really does seem like Ghost of Tsushima. You see this character obviously come back to his village or whatever, and it's like all burnt down, and it seems you're going on a trek for revenge, to revenge your family or your people or what have you. It's got this beautiful black and white art style. Seems to have, at least until someone tells me otherwise, I'm sticking with it seems to have one hit kill, and that will be like the difficulty factor of it, I guess. Which again, I say that makes sense for this type of game. And then I know I said this when we talked about it previously, but I also love the fact you have the little screen flickers like it's an old VHS tape and that sort of stuff. So visually, it's all up my alley. Just absolutely love the look of it. And the gameplay, if it comes together well, and it's a good like sort of block, but the one time you get that one hit in, you're good, like, because it's one hit kill. I think that would be a really cool way to do combat in this side-scrolling 2.5-ish D or 2.25 D or whatever game. But yeah, I'm really keen for that one. That's definitely one of the standouts of the show for me. What is your number 2?
My number 2, Redfall. Obviously, we talked about it just before about the trailer being really, really cool. Yeah, it has me questioning whether I need an Xbox.
See, would you ever get an Xbox, or would you just, because you could probably you can play it on PC as well, so on your laptop. But is that just too much of a pain?
It's a possibility. I'm just,
Yeah. Would you get an S or an X?
I've looked up. There's so little information about the S, I feel like. Plus, it has like half the storage, right? And there's no currently expandable.
There's a lot of information because it's out in the wild and you can get the information, Ash. I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, but I don't think like people care enough to write about it, you know?
I can tell you this. It's digital only, which is annoying. It doesn't have that big of a storage, no.
But really, it's going to just be a Game Pass machine.
It is a Game Pass
machine. Because all the
machine.
exclusives are going to be on Game Pass.
It is a Game Pass machine. It'll play everything, but the games don't run as well in that as they do on the Series X, of course. Not that you care, but maybe one day if you do care.
Maybe.
Because often the Series S runs games at 30, where the X runs them at 6. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, nobody can see those frames, so it doesn't really matter.
You feel the frames. Actually feel the frames. Right?
You feel like you can tell the difference.
No, you can tell the difference.
But you can't.
If you switch Ratchet and Clank to 60 and switch it back, if you say you can't feel the difference, you're fucking lying. I'm saying right now. Goddamn liar. All right, my number 2 is Harold Halbert. So this was the indie game that I'd never seen before that I've just been in love with since seeing it. And apparently got a story trailer 3 months ago, and that's where a lot of people started writing about it, or it was revealed for the first time. Completely missed that. I didn't see this 3 months ago. I don't know where it was. Don't know if it just dropped into the sky, whatever else. But amazing art style. They're using this whole wheel stop motion tied in with people doing motion capture to do the animation. Has really awesome art style. The whole concept of the game just being this ship in space or like with a colony or whatever you want to call it on side. I don't remember if it's supposed to be like the last remnants of Earth or something along those lines, but it's just this really well designed ship and all these really cool looking characters and places, and it's just the type of thing I watch and I'm just like, yes, I would like to explore this place because it looks so big and environment, and you got all these different characters. I don't really know what you're doing in the gameplay. Of course, it's like it's an adventure game. It's like a point and click, but you're controlling the character, I guess it's basically just a adventure game, of course, but I don't know if there's like multiple choices, stuff like, or whatever. I just think it looks really, really cool. I've been obsessed with it, I think, since seeing it. I've watched this a couple times, and this is one of those moments where I was so impressed with this and excited. And again, I do think that when people are saying it looks like a Wes Anderson designed a video game, that's how I feel watching it. I'm like, this is like if Wes Anderson was doing a game to me or something like that. And look, the game could come out and it could be bad, and that's fine. I'm allowed to be excited right now. And just, at the end of that trailer they had during E3 where they were like showing off, like if you're watching the video version here, I have it up now, where they're showing off not only them creating the characters, which they then bringing in with stop motion and motion capture, but also showing that they designed the environments that the characters are in, so they're like photographed and brought into the game as well. It's like this is like this amazing meld of old school technology with new school technology to make a video game, and I'm all about it. And I love at the end of the trailer where they say the game's coming soonish. I'm like, how soon is soonish? Because I want to play this now. Like, I want to give it to me now. Howard Halbert, all about it, please. That's my number 2. What's your number 1?
My number 1. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Damn.
Big game. Didn't expect it to happen. And very keen to jump into this world, play a Star-Lord, deal with the rest of the Guardians, make decisions, throw a rocket across bridges, and suffer the consequences.
Now, here's my question for this.
Yes.
Are you at all trepidatious after Marvel's Avengers? Or are you just throwing that to the window and being like, nah, I'm hyped?
No, because, I mean, there were cool moments in Marvel's Avengers. And then this one is clearly more single player focused.
It's all single player. There's no multiplayer.
It's all single. Yeah. So it's very single player focused.
Yes.
Almost entirely.
Almost entirely, yeah. Some would say it's entirely actually, single player.
Entirely.
Yes. Let's just clarify in case you're listening. It is single player only. There's no multiplayer in this game.
Currently. So yeah, I'm confident that it's going to be fine. I mean, yeah, I have faith.
You have faith. All right, that's fair. Yeah.
I also, they're those Human Revolution games, the Deus Ex games, they were liked by the people who played them. So
I believe so. I haven't played any of them, but yes, I believe that's the thing. I'm going to play Guardians. Obviously, wasn't as blown away and impressed as you, but that's fine.
Clearly, it's not in your top 5.
It's not in my top 5. No. Imagine if I was like, "That's my number 1." How much would that blow your mind? Like you're like,
that would blow my mind. It's like what?
My number 1 game of E3 2021 is. Do you want to guess? Do you reckon you can guess what it is? Just see how you go. No. Yeah, just throw.
No, I don't think I can.
No, throw something. Not even a hint at all. Okay. My number one game
It's Avatar.
is Avatar. No, my number one game at E3 2021 is Forza Horizon 5.
Ugh.
No?
On the same train as everybody. They won the E3 award, right?
Did it?
As most anticipated game.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't paying any attention because I thought they were garbage awards. Forza Horizon. So I love Forza Horizon 4. One of my games of the year. Was it 2018? Yeah. Loved it. This was such a good trailer. This was the one trailer. See, I'm always someone who's going to get more excited watching a trailer if it's gameplay more than a cinematic, right? That's not me. Like, I can enjoy a good cinematic, obviously, because I love Redfall, but a good gameplay trailer or like a good cinematic trailer paired with a gameplay after it, which is what they did for Guardians as well, of course. Like, that's always going to get me way more hype for a game than just showing me something cinematic or whatever. And they showed the original trailer for this, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, like, looks cool. Forza Horizon 5, can't wait for that. But it was when they went to the next video and they were showing gameplay and explaining more of it. There was a point, like several minutes into it, where I could feel myself doing that thing where I'm like creeping closer to the monitor, you know, because I'm just like I was getting like really invested and just like forgetting that I was sitting here trying to take notes or anything like that I was supposed to be doing at the time. And I was just invested in it going, fuck, I want to play this now. Like, it was all about it. So I am super keen for Forza Horizon 5. It just looks, not only does it look like a fun Forza game, which I would expect at this point because they've kind of got this system down packed, I feel, for these games at this point. But it just looks so beautiful. Like, this is one of those games where it actually does look next gen or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. This looks stunning. Especially because I went and rewatched it on the 4K TV afterwards. Because everything in these conferences, you know, you're streaming, they don't look as good anyway. Like, if there's any event, state of play, Nintendo Direct, anything, well, probably not Nintendo Direct because it's probably not 4K, but if there's anything revealed ever that you're like, oh, that looks good, like the Ratchet and Clank trailers back in the day, every time I'd watch them during state of play, it's like, fuck, that's hot. I need to look at that on my TV afterwards. And that's what I did for this. It looks so good. Can't wait to play it. It's coming out this year. That's another reason I think that helps me get so much excited, because it's actually a game I know I'll be playing within the next, like, under the next 6 months.
6 months.
You know, so that also adds to my hype level, because I'm going to be more excited about something I know I'm playing soon, you know, rather than something that could potentially come out in a year or 2 years. Like, I can't, yeah. It's like, oh, I get to play a new Forza Horizon 5 soon, come out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it, because I thought if they were showing Forza, it would be Motorsport, because that's the one they teased previously, but they completely forgot about Motorsport, announced Forza Horizon 5 and said, fuck it, that's coming this year. It looks really pretty. It looks really great. I can't wait to have a great time. And that's, yeah, my personal pick for my favorite game I saw at E3 2021. What, did we have one crossover? No, 0 crossovers. No crossovers. There you go.
No crossovers.
10 games.
So 10 games to get excited
10
about.
10 games to get excited about. There you go. Did you have any, I didn't have an honorable mentions list, but is there anything off the top of your head that you didn't include that you like want to shout out in our final E3 arcade couch here?
No, nothing. I'm coming up blank.
I'll say, I don't have a short list, but I will say, for instance,
I mean, Death's Door. I feel like
that's exactly
what
something
I'm keen for.
That's exactly.
Yeah. It's like, but I felt like we've talked about it before. So it's unfair to count it.
I had it on my list here before I deleted them all off my notes app on my phone. I had Death's Door there, and I had Tunic as well, and like a couple other things in like my short list. And those were some of the things that went first, because I was like, I'm excited for Tunic, but also I didn't like that last demo, but also like there was nothing really at E3 that was changing. That's just me being like, it's a game that was technically there. But then I was like, that's the same for Death's Door, because they had a trailer at the Devolver thing, but it really wasn't really anything I hadn't seen before. So maybe I'll delete that. And that's why I deleted it, because I'm like, you know, I'm very keen for Death's Door. Very excited. It's out soon. Whenever it is, next month after. I can't remember at the stage, but sometime soon. And but it's like, was it E3 part of the hype for that? No, not really. It's just I was already hyped before E3, so yep. That'll do it. That is our E3 2021 wrap up. I hope you've enjoyed the specials. I hope you've enjoyed all the stuff. Of course, we did do predictions, but in case you forgot, this year's predictions are a little different than previous years in that
They're going on
they're
forever.
going on forever. Yeah. No, they will end at the end of July. July is the cutoff for the predictions we did. We put it in because, of course, we still have EA Play coming up at the end of next month.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of other things, presumably, that Jeff Keighley's going to announce. Maybe he's announcing a secret Hideo Kojima game from a studio called Blue Box Games or whatever. Let's not open that can of worms. We'll be here all day. Maybe we'll discuss it on Plat.
I know. Where are we going to talk about?
Maybe on Plat, depending, just like everyone else. Like I don't even know if I want to talk about it because it just makes you sound like a lunatic if you do. But maybe it's fun to. In case you don't know what that is, tune in to Plat. I guess we'll cover it there.
We'll talk it there. Yeah. Okay.
But maybe that's
get my whiteboard out.
We got the Annapurna Interactive is on the 30th of July, so they slip in. I don't think any of us have announced predictions that would relate to that, but still, that will be.
But still, that'll
be unless something else is announced.
They could announce Bayonetta 3 there.
Maybe. But I was going to say
be crazy.
That will be the last show that counts for our predictions, technically, because it's on July 30th. So, but yeah, that's when we'll wrap up the predictions and stuff in like a month's time. So that'll do it. Thank you for joining us this week on Arcade Couch. Let us know any of your favorite games, I guess, from E3. You can tweet at us, explosionhour.com/Twitter, leads you to a list on Twitter with all our Twitters there. There's a lot of Twitters. Explosionhour.com/Discord takes you to our Discord. And if you like this episode and would like to support us, explosionnetwork.com/support takes you straight to our Ko-fi page where you can give us a coffee for $1 or more. $10 coffee, $50 coffee, $150,000, $150,000, $200,000 coffee, whatever you feel like you can spare. Maybe you're a millionaire. I don't know. Appreciate it. Love it. Thank you very much.
Whatever you can spare.
Millionaires can spare.
I feel like that's an important distinction.
Millionaires can spare $150,000. You know what I'm saying though? Like, maybe you can spare $1.
If you can spare $150,000,
you can spare $1. That's
ahead,
great. If you can spare $150,000, that's great too. Whatever you can spare, that would be great. We appreciate it.
It's really great if you can.
It's till next time. See you here, same time, same couch. Boy. Hey, don't forget you can subscribe to the show wherever you're currently listening, and you can drop a review if you can. Find more great shows like this and more content over at explosionnetwork.com. And please consider supporting us for as little as $1 over on our Ko-fi page by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thanks for listening.